The winner of the 2024 Crabo Breaking Barriers in Canada Award goes to The Diary of a Niger Immigrant.
Hey Diary, are you in for this ride with me? Let's jump in. Hello everybody, welcome to yet another episode of The Diary of a Niger Immigrant. If you haven't noticed, welcome to Black History Month with The Diary of a Niger Immigrant. But I'm sure there have been so many programs or so many events that have been happening. Black History Month is 1 month that we Black people just run around like headless chicken in this city, in this country. I know we don't talk about Black History Month in Nigeria because why? Like we don't even think about being Black back home. But here in Canada, in the abroad, in the US, in the UK, in diaspora in general, we talk about Black History Month. And so we have a very amazing voice in the Black community, someone who has informed so much change, more than one, someone who keeps shaking tables, keeps turning things around, and keeps making spaces for Black people. She is the amazing author, mom, speaker, and beautiful, delectable, and amazing Moji Taiwo.
Thank you for having me. Delectable, that's a first, but I'll take it. Thank you.
I'm glad I was the first to give you that.
Yes.
So when you hear the word, you think about me.
Yeah, I'll think about you. Yes.
Amazing. The first time I met Moji Taiwo, it feels so weird calling you by your name, by the way.
Well, the thing is, when we are in diaspora, especially in the Western world, the culture here acknowledges you by your first given name.
Right.
At least that's the way I interpret it. So when I meet young people from Africa or Nigeria or whatever, and they feel the way you feel on a professional level, what to call me, I just tell them it's okay to call me by my first given name, which is Moji.
Okay.
Not the title.
Okay. Because I feel like I have to either put mommy or auntie at the beginning, because we're Nigerians. If you're Canadian and you're hearing this and you feel like, what? Well, we are Nigerians, and the way we're raised, you do not call people by their names. Everybody's your auntie. Back home, even your teacher is your auntie. You're like auntie this, auntie that, and it just feels very uncomfortable. But anyways, if my mom should hear me, she'll probably slap me to the end of the
well, you got permission from me.
Okay.
Because we're on this platform, right?
Okay.
Even though we're Nigerians, this is a Niger, show.
Exactly.
And we're educating people while we're sharing our culture. The culture is you don't call older people by your first name. However, we're also in a different culture.
Yes.
Where I'm hoping your platform, this program, is broadcasted to not just Nigerians.
No.
So we have to kind of adapt it.
Yes.
So I'm sure once we get off the air, you call me by your...
To mommy. That's what I call her. I call her mommy.
Yeah.
Even when I type the mommy, I'm like, I hope she doesn't feel uncomfortable.
Well, I'm a mom and I'm a grandma. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
And you're old enough to be my mom.
Well, we will... You figure out my age later on.
Okay.
I may be older, but...
Exactly. Exactly. So,
yeah.
And you just celebrated your 47th
47th
wedding anniversary. So,
well, not wedding anniversary because we didn't really have a wedding.
Okay.
It's a marriage partnership anniversary.
That makes sense. You've been married longer than I have been existing in life.
In life, yeah.
Yes.
I would say so because my oldest daughter, I was just on my way here just now, just sharing with my husband that our oldest daughter is going to be 45 next month.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And your last child is how old?
My last child is almost 40.
Oh my
is
goodness.
39 going 40 this year.
I thought I was going to at least be the age of your last child, but unfortunately, maybe if you had one more, maybe.
Yes, maybe. Yeah. But I stopped at 3, so.
You did very well. Anyways, I have tried to introduce you as much, but I know that it comes better from you. Could you tell us, and I know you've introduced yourself so many times
before.
But do you mind, for people who would just be meeting you for the first time on the podcast, do you mind introducing yourself to them, please?
Okay. My name is Moji Taiwo. I was born and raised in Lagos Island. I like to stress that, Nigeria. I came to Canada as in my late things, because people, when I tell them that I've been in Canada for 47 years, they immediately assume that I came with a parent, but I didn't. I came alone as a 19-year-old, 1 month shy of my 20th birthday. I came alone, a girl, leaving Nigeria in February 1978.
Wow.
Coming to a cold Canada in the middle of winter. So that I came, and of course, in those days, people always ask, what would be the reason why you came? I came for a better education. I'm 7th of 8 children, and my parents were older by the time I came along, and my younger sister. So in order for me to get an education, I needed to venture into places where I could afford to sponsor my own education. So
And
that's
Canada,
how I came to Canada
interesting.
for school. But I came in with PR as a domestic worker in order to work and support my education. And my education, surprisingly to you, but not to me, is right here. This space is what my education was.
Wait, in the University of Calgary?
I studied broadcasting
at
Lethbridge College in those days. It used to be called Lethbridge College. Now it's Lethbridge Collegiate. Yes. So my first love was in storytelling, in broadcasting. So I studied radio broadcasting.
That is awesome.
At Lethbridge College.
Wow. And how did that go for you back in the 70s?
Back in the 70s, I often tell this story where I had applied to SAT. And for the admission process into the program in those days, you have to do a written test, pre-test first, which I did. So I was elevated and move on to the next stage, which is the oral interview. And because of my accent, they denied me admission.
Oh my goodness.
And I also tell people, as much as we still have some biases now, the biases then was blatant, and there was no recourse and no repercussion. So when I asked why I was rejected, I was pleasantly told that it was because of my accent. They didn't think anything bad about it. They didn't mean it in a bad way. They just told me that it was because of my accent.
That's interesting. You know, there was an episode where we spoke about this accent thing, and I mentioned my first degree is in mass communication. Back in Nigeria, I've worked with NTA, AIT, and then I became a regulator with NBC. And one of the reasons why I wanted to come here and study is because I also wanted to have a different idea of what regulation over the media should look like in a freer country. And so I took a study leave and I came here to study journalism. And I've always wanted to to do this. But somebody told me, maybe because of your accent, it might not be possible.
Well, during my time,
Yeah.
it wasn't possible.
Yeah.
But now I see lots of different people, shades of colors, accents stronger than ours. Have you ever watched City TV?
Yes.
You see different people different accents, and I would look and I'm thinking, I'm more eloquent than this person, but I'm happy for that person, that person is being given an opportunity. And people who hire that person, they've looked beyond the accent, but rather they're looking about the capacity and capability of that person.
When that happened to you, what was your reaction and how did it make you feel?
Well, it was the fact of life. I just applied to another school, which is Lethbridge, and I got admission there.
And were you able to practice?
That's another story. Can we go to my introduction?
Yes.
Go back to my introduction.
Sure.
So, because we're going to delve into that and it will go on and on.
Yeah.
So I came to Canada in 1978. I studied broadcasting. With disappointment in broadcasting, it pushed me to go back to university, where I studied sociology and really found my passion in juvenile delinquency and youth.
Okay.
So I have a degree in that, which led me to working with Alberta Social Services. From Social Services, I then joined Alberta Justice. And I ended up spending over 3 decades working with Alberta Justice, Correctional Services, Young Offender Branch.
Oh, interesting.
Where I went from frontline staff to supervisory positions and then into management, into hiring, and I retired there 10 years ago.
Interesting.
And since retiring, I have written a couple of books. That's my memoir. I give because I'm blessed because I give, which is a chronicle of an immigrant's journey. It captures 40 years of my journey in Canada. So, and since that time, I've written children's books based on my activities and my grandchildren. I have 3 grandsons.
Wow.
Yes.
All boys.
All boys. And the oldest is going to be 12 years old end of this month.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I have 10, 11, and 8.
Wow, you've been busy.
Yes.
You've been raising them.
So I wrote the books, the children's book, over the COVID pandemic when I found myself, taking care of one of them. Yeah. And since I host a YouTube show called the Immigrant Experience Show. And I run a non-for-profit foundation called TMT Learning Foundation, among other things.
Among other things.
Yes.
There has been a day that I think there's this part that I've seen of you that you might not realize, but there was a day, I don't know where I was, but I think it was on a billboard or something, and I saw your picture.
Yes, I also model.
You know, I told you we had royalty with us today.
For some reason, I always forget to mention that. Yes, I'm a professional model.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, and people might think maybe I just got into it. So there is another story we're going to talk about as far as the discrimination and how I found discrimination actually a tool for me to propel myself. You asked me earlier, how did I feel when I was rejected because of my accent? I felt that it's their loss.
Wow.
It's their loss, because if they hadn't rejected me, I wouldn't have ended up in Lethbridge, where I had a wonderful, wonderful instructor that just took all of us as his kids And it exposed me to other students from different parts of Alberta and Canada, and a few of them were still connected today.
That's good.
They were in the field, and a few are still in broadcasting or in journalism. But because of the, rejection, I went there, and I got rejected at the radio station CJOC in Lethbridge.
Oh my goodness.
So I got a job, and all the media outlets in Lethbridge at the time was really owned by the same family. They've never seen a black person before. Definitely not a black person in that capacity. So the manager, who I adored, who gave me the opportunity, had to call me aside and said, I'm getting too much pressure here and complaints and this, so I will give you this month, how many months of pay if you just leave. And I just said, no, you don't have to pay me off. I can leave. And that's when I went back to university.
Oh my goodness. Wait, I want to sit there a little bit, because you say when you got those rejections, you just felt like it's their loss. Did you feel that then, or are you just coming to that? Like, what did you have to take some time for you to get there? Because for you to feel that at that time, it takes a level of self, like knowing yourself and your identity to feel that way.
Yes, because I really had no choice. I didn't come here with a parent. I didn't come here with a spouse. So what choice did I have? Yes, I was disappointed, but it's their loss. I just move on. And when the radio station thing came, by that time I've already had a child. I had a baby. Because my baby came in February 1981, and I graduated in April 1981. Okay. So I had no choice. I couldn't just sit there and wallow in the rejection or whatever. I took a job, cashier job at Zella's in those days, just to pass the summer, because the bills has to be paid.
Of course, yeah.
So I used that to cover the summer, and then started my program at the University of Lethbridge fall that year. And because of my diploma, I didn't have to do 4 years. I got a 2-year credit for all of because I had good grades. I had excellent grades. So I got 2-year credit. So my degree was actually 2 years. It took me 2 years to finish my degree. While doing my degree, because of my marks, I was able to get jobs as a student marker.
Nice.
Yeah. Wow. Marking papers.
Yeah. Oh, so you were marking your fellow students' papers?
Yes.
Wow. Did they know that you were the one marking their papers?
Well, it would be younger,
right? Yeah. Classes or
levels.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. You see, I think your generation is built different, because nowadays, maybe because we have social media as well, and everybody can pick up the phone and make a content and be like, oh, they told me this or they told me that.
Yeah.
But like you said, you had no time to wallow in the misery. You just had to move on.
You just had to move on, and you don't really have familiar faces. There are few of us that are African student, Indian student, Chinese student. So everybody became your support system. So that's how that happened, and went on to university.
How did you become such a voice in the Black community? I was just watching, I don't know if you remember, but I did the video for MRU's Black History Month.
That's where we met, right?
The maiden one, that was when we met. And you were like it was so fun for you to even see that a black person can become a minister, or because when you first came, there were just a handful of black people. Like you literally knew every black person. The person I used to co-host this show with then said when she was like, when her parents first moved, you would just literally go to a gas station and be like, or looking for the black family, and be like, oh, down the road, because everybody
didn't
knew
know everyone.
Exactly.
And you know, having so many of us now, it's a double-edged sword. Because there are many of us now, but yet we're disconnected. When there were few of us, we were connected. Because there was no show-off. There was no, I am this, or I live in this part of the city, or whatever. And that will explain some of the questions you posed to me earlier. No, the statement you made earlier when you said that you were surprised that I will honor your invitation.
My invitation, yes.
And I'm saying, don't be surprised, because that's the way we were. We build ourselves and other people up. We carry other people along.
That is so apt. Because I was going to ask, like, why is it that we're not connected? Why do we want to push the other? On our way up, we decide to throw down the ladder so the other person doesn't come up. As black people, I feel like the only month where it feels like we're connected is this month, Black History Month, February.
And we need to change that, because I'm connected with everybody every day of the year.
How do you even do it? I don't know how you do, and I think that's why you're connected to the community. I can't keep up. But how are you able to keep up with everybody? You make everybody feel special, feel seen, feel like what they have in their hands is important to the community at large. How are you able to do that?
I think, to be fair, and to be fair to you and to your generation, when you're part of building something, you build gradually. So as I was building, you know, I can see this person and see that person and see that person. And then we go to the next level, I can see this person. So I'm not coming in at the top,
yeah,
and trying to, you know,
down
and connect with.
Yeah.
So that is the best explanation that I can give. But I also think that I am purposeful. I am intentional in my relationship with my community. And when I say community, yes, the Black community, but community at large. I don't restrict myself to my immediate community.
Right.
Because, of course, my immediate community wasn't this large when I came here.
Yeah.
So in order to be successful, I had to learn to reach out to community at large. And I have friends in every part of the community, every ethnic, every cultural, every race. Yes.
What would you say is like the point where the trajectory of everything changed for you as a Black person who was one of the very few Black people in Alberta at that time? Like, where would you say, okay, things are beginning to take a turn?
Turn for good or
Turn
worse?
For good. No, for good.
Because if you've read that, the immigrant experience, the documentation there, things are not always smooth. And there is a chapter there where I talk about turning a disappointment or creating opportunities from disappointment. And that's the story of my life. I create opportunities out of rejection.
In what way? Give me an example.
Okay. For example, the modeling. So I've always been into fashion, even in Nigeria. As a teenager in boarding school, I looked different. We wore uniforms, but mine was always different. Not because I come from a rich family, as you can tell from what I've said. You know, I was one of those few kids in boarding school that once I go to school, I don't see any family member again until the last day of school when I go home. Nobody came to visit. That was just the reality of my life.
Right.
And I think the self-assuredness and self-reliance came from that. Because whatever I was given when I was going to school must last through the term until I come home again. Because nobody was coming. And that also, I believe, also boosted my, well, I was going to, not confidence, stupidity or naivety when I left Nigeria to come here alone.
In what way?
Well, because there was nobody coming for me.
Right.
It's me and me and me alone.
So how would it boost your naivety instead of boosting, like, you?
Because I didn't know what I was coming to get into here.
Okay.
I was only thinking of education. I was going to work and I was going to fund my education. I didn't think about the cultural differences. I didn't think about the climate. Because even with the climate, I came here middle of winter, February 27th.
Oh my goodness.
I landed and I had my skirt suit on with open toe shoes.
Skirt suit, that sounds so...
And open toe shoes. I think there is a picture of it in that book you're holding.
Oh my gosh.
So that's the naivety and, not really, I just knew what I wanted.
This one?
That's it. That is it. That's the skirt suit I wore. And that's my first car. That same summer. So I came in February. I purchased my first car in August.
Please, how did you do it? Maybe we need to stay there a little bit because I don't think it was that easy to come. And education as an international student, although you said you came in as a PR,
so I didn't have to pay.
What was the process of actually getting? How did you even know about Canada and getting the process of getting your PR?
When you are desperate, when you come from a family where education is important but the resources are very skimpy, you learn to look outward and look for possibilities. So in those days, Canada was new, right? And they were just introducing Canada to the rest of the world. And Canada's population was 25 million people. And they need a big country with few people.
Yeah.
So they needed people. And in those days, it was advertisement in the newspapers.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because there was no cell phone.
Yeah.
And land phone was had by rich people.
Yes.
So you look at the advertisement, you go to the embassy to ask questions, they tell you more, they give you the forms, you fill it out and on, and that's how.
Interesting. Wow. You were very resilient. You've always been very resilient. I'll give that to you because I don't think there were many people like you who would have done that, especially at that age.
I am unique.
You are. You are, because, yeah. And afterwards, what pushed you to decide to stay in this country? Because my own dad decided after his education, he carried his bag and moved back to Nigeria.
Well, for me, I met my husband here.
Okay.
So I arrived in February. Most Nigerians here were single guys that are students.
Okay.
Mostly students. And there are few that came with their wives. Okay. Or they have a wife promised to them in Nigeria and whatever. So arrived in February, school ended in April. And all of these students, they will come from different places like Olds College, Lethbridge, Medicine Hat, all those small colleges. They come to the city, which is Calgary. Right. And they will rent a house together and,
Just
that's
have
how
fun.
not to have fun. Well, to have fun.
Or to live.
To live.
Right, okay.
And remember, in those days, students, when you're on student visa, you are not given a work permit.
Oh.
You cannot work.
Interesting. Okay.
So they have to work underground.
Right.
In order to pay the international student fee.
Because it would have been expensive.
Expensive. And they other ways. Yeah. So, and there was a house party that I attended. Also with my, not that short, but my short dress. I had this really fringy polka dot red and white dress that I brought from Nigeria.
Clock it.
That I brought from Nigeria with my big afro.
Wow.
Went to this party. And I met my husband there. That's another story because I didn't remember him there.
Right.
But he told me later on that that's where he saw me first.
Sharp guy.
Quiet, but sharp. Yeah. And he had to double cross his roommates. When they found out, they kicked him out later on. So
this is tea.
So we decided to get married the following January.
Okay.
Because he was moving on to Lethbridge, to university. And I'd gotten admission to LCC. But I wasn't going to start until the fall of that year. So I got married. There are only 5 of us. 6 people at this marriage. That's why I said there was no wedding. No. So, and that's how I decided little by little. Then the child came 2 years later and we're thinking, okay, we're all done now. Education is done. We're going to go back to Nigeria, but things didn't go that way after all.
You didn't decide, or it just didn't work out for you to go?
I think when my father came, my dad came to visit in 1983.
Wow, okay.
Long ago. And my dad was a builder.
Okay.
And he just looked around. He was mesmerized by the landscape and everything about Alberta. And we would drive between Lethbridge and Calgary, just the flat land and everything. And he said in his quiet way, wow, this place is so nice and peaceful.
Because when you're coming from Lagos, where there is so much noise, everywhere there is a house and all of that, and then you come to this kind of place.
And he said it was peaceful. And I said, so I kind of, noted that. But we were still planning to go home. The political and economic conditions in Nigeria, we thought at the time was deteriorating. But now, so we kept postponing. And then my mom came in 1986. And I think my boldness I got from my mom.
Okay.
I look like my dad, but my personality is like my mom's.
Okay.
And my mom says, I think maybe you guys should stay here. When I get back home, she and her prayer group, they have to change their prayers.
What was their prayer before?
I was born and raised a Muslim.
Yeah. Oh.
I was born and raised in a Muslim home.
Right.
Although I was educated in Christian schools.
Okay.
During my time, religion was not enemy to anybody.
Yes.
We celebrated everything. We practiced everything.
Yes.
So, and my mom says, so I'm going to go to my Asalatu's group to pray that when they are praying for their children abroad, they should change the prayer from they should come home. Rather, it should be wherever they lay their heads at night and they find peace and they sleep comfortably. That's where home is.
I just had chills. That is so good. And there's nothing like a mother's prayer, right? She saw something and she was like, you belong here.
Well, not just that I belong here, it's the environment, some things that I could not.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she observed this and observed that, and she said, okay, if I can turn on water and water came out and I can even choose from hot and cold. Then what is left?
Oh my gosh, that just reminded me of my husband when my husband first came, because we moved first and then my husband came to join us. And sometimes he will go and turn off the lights. I'm like, why are you turning off the lights?
Yeah.
He's like, at least let's pretend as if there is no lights. How can there just be lights all through? How can you just come in every time there is lights? Every time there is lights. Like, it felt weird. And then also when we went to the library and we borrowed books, so many books, and they didn't ask us to pay anything.
No.
I was like, really? Is this life?
Yeah.
So I feel like I can't.
By the way, with the library, before you used to pay for the library card membership.
Oh, okay.
Until just before COVID, a couple, an ordinary couple, donated millions of dollars to the Calgary Public Library so that any child and any family will have direct access to books so that they won't have to pay for the cards.
Wow.
That I hope I am doing, and I would like to encourage our people who are well off in this society to think about living a legacy like that instead of just buying big cars and fancy homes.
So why do you think it is for us that is what is more important for us to do?
It's because of where we came from, because the colonial masters oppressed us, and whenever we get a little bit of substance, rather than using the substance to benefit, elevate, educate, enrich other people, we use it
to enrich ourselves.
It's okay to enrich ourselves. As you can tell, I love looking good. I love taking care of myself.
Absolutely.
I like fine things. But that's not all who I am.
There is to it. Yeah. I think we like to, and that's also part of what is wrong with our country. We prefer to keep and hide and just keep pouring into we claim it is for the generations to come, but even the things you need and the things you do not need, we just want to keep everything to ourselves. And I think that's
so I 5.5 years ago, I used to live in a 6-bedroom home, affluent neighborhood, before Black people or people of color ever moved to that neighborhood. So that's another story, I got stopped many times by police in that neighborhood because they don't expect to see somebody like me there. So, but 26 years later, the kids are gone. What am I doing with this big home? So I downsize, myself and my husband downsize to a duplex. And some people, my husband is quiet and is not as, outspoken as, I think some people felt comfortable enough to share with him that, don't you think that you're going backward? You live in an estate home and you're going to whatever and whatever. And I just said to my husband, I said, they live their lives the way they want to. And I live mine the way I want to. Not based on what some other
impressing
person
other
is,
people
is.
I think the problem is we live to impress other people, even though it's not giving us any joy, but just so people will say, oh, you're wearing this, oh, you're living in this kind of house. Yeah.
And it's
that poverty mindset.
Yes.
That is the problem.
And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we saw the problem where we're coming from. We escaped the problem, but we didn't leave the problem behind to just look around us and emulate what could be.
Now, with this Black History Month, could it be that maybe our white counterparts are not the only problem we have, or they are not the major problem we have? They might have been the beginning of, or the genesis of the problem, but how can we leave that mentality and evolve instead of pointing fingers every time?
Yes. So, I came, like I said, my husband came, we raised a family, we did everything we could do, not because of the absence of racism.
Okay.
But in spite of racism, we rose up, we hold ourselves accountable, we learned from watching them to build ourselves. The story I just told you about that house was sold and was able to buy 2 properties, which is creating wealth from within wealth. I could sit in that property and be paying bills, because here you pay for utilities, you pay for maintenance, you pay for groundkeeping, you pay taxes, you pay mortgage or whatever and whatever and whatever. Just because I wanted to show that, but rather I did what white people would do. See potentials, capitalize on potentials, and enrich yourself. Raise yourself to the next level. So that house paid for 2 houses.
Wow.
So I moved into a duplex. We moved on to one side and we bought the other side as well.
Wow. And you're even close to your property.
To my property.
Yeah.
Next door. And that is just the latest. So you ask, how did we do it? So one of the learning from the white people. So when I went to university, when I graduated, I noticed that I made friends with older white ladies that I took classes with at the university. And I knew that they all had part-time jobs in their field that they have not graduated from yet.
Interesting. Okay.
So I talked to them and they said, oh, I will introduce you to my manager. Your resume. What resume? So we quickly made one up. I will give it to Stan. I still remember the first manager. His name was Stan. Yeah, I'll give it to Linda. Said that I'll give it to Stan. And, I said, okay. That's how I got into the field of social work.
Wow.
Stan, Linda was able to talk to Stan. Linda and Gloria were my friends. Linda was able to talk to Stan, who gave me an opportunity for a summer placement job. It was supposed to be summer placement. But what I learned from these women is once you get into the government system, then you have access to apply for other jobs within. And because you're already a staff with them, you have better chance.
Yes.
And it allowed me to have references. Linda was my reference. My immediate supervisor there was my reference. And Stan, who'd only known me for 2 months, was my reference.
Wow. Closed mouths don't get fed.
No.
That's just it. That's what I'm picking from this.
And I hung out with them. We will hang out at the university cafeteria when we don't have classes. And outside of school, they became my friends. I invited them home to have Nigerian food and this and that. So that's how my career with the government started.
Right.
From those people.
Interesting. Back then, like you said, there weren't so many that looked like you.
No.
How were you able to still find people who embraced you for who you are?
Because I present myself. Okay. And they have no choice but to know who Moji is.
Yes.
Yeah. I show up, I present myself as a confident and trustworthy, reliable person. You know?
Yeah.
And friendly. Mm-hmm. And just because one person did me wrong doesn't mean that I paint everybody, you know. And one thing my mother always say, and I wrote that in the book, is, and this applies to us, even Nigerians, amongst ourselves. Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't want to go there because I don't want anything to do with Nigerians. And I'm saying that you left Nigeria to come to Canada and you don't want anything to do with your people. You're in for a rude awakening. So my mother always said that if you close your eyes because you don't want to see bad people, good people will pass you by and you will have missed them.
True. Yes.
So I always keep my eyes open, always keep my mind open so that I can meet good people.
That's amazing.
There are so many challenges in my career, even at work. As I move from one position to the next and move up the corporate ladder, there was always one problem or the other. But I had mentors. I had hidden friends among these other so-called white people that would tell me what it is that other people are cooking.
Interesting. That's wisdom.
You will go to coffee with them. Don't isolate yourself only to your own church. Don't isolate yourself only to your own friends. Don't isolate your friends only to your own economic status friends. And that's another reason I meet people.
Yeah.
You know, you asked that other time, how am I able to be present for everybody? That's because I'm inquisitive, I like to learn, and I like to elevate people.
You know, sometimes I want to play devil's advocate. Sometimes it's not because people do not want to come out or they don't want to be involved in the community, but imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Then also you just trying to stay out of trouble, but at the same time you don't even know if
you don't know where the trouble is not. That's why you have to keep an open mind and keep your eyes open and your ears open.
Yeah, that's why I'm surprised that you were able, regardless of all the no's you got, that imposter syndrome didn't sit with you. You were able to get up and still come out, and like, maybe it's your personality, but how are you able to keep in touch, follow up, don't let, like, tell yourself, okay, I'm not good enough, and then you don't come out to be associated with other people that
I don't care if I'm not good enough. You get what you get. Even when I'm not good enough, I don't let that hold me back.
Okay.
Because then, if I don't hold myself back because I'm not good enough, it gives me an opportunity to learn from other people and make myself better.
And all the people in your community, how do you stay in touch with them? Do you have to chat with them very often, or?
No. Well, I call. Like this morning, I called somebody that I hadn't heard from for a long time. And she said, oh, thank you, because I was sick. That's why you didn't hear from me. And I appreciate that you call. One call a day. And my calls are usually 3 minutes or less. I don't call to gossip. So that's another one. If you're calling to gossip, it lasts long. It wastes time.
Yeah.
I don't do those kind of calls. My calls are always purposeful. There's a reason behind it. I've had a meeting this morning with potential partner from Mount Royal University where we can have students work with TMT Learning Foundation and also they can use that as part of their course. I've had that this morning.
Virtual meeting?
Virtual meeting.
How did you stay in touch with MRU to have that meeting?
Well, I have contact with Sarah.
Okay.
And through Sarah and people that work for Sarah, they email me this or that. I still mentor for Black students at Mount Royal University. So I have a mentee, a girl right now. And through my own volunteers for TMT Learning Foundation, I was able to connect one of our volunteers to mentor one of their students. So it's just the cycle. It's a full circle.
Yeah. Maybe you need to mentor me.
I'm open. Yeah.
Because that is something I struggle with so much. And when people see me in front of the camera or doing what I do, they just think that this is my personality.
No. So the thing too is that, speaking of personality, when I'm outside like this, in front of the camera, in front of people, this is me. When I get into my own space, my own home, I actually like it to be quiet. And that's why I don't have frivolous phone calls.
Right.
If I'm calling you or you're calling me, there is a reason and it has to mean something.
Right. Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But in the middle or in the midst of everything, you were raising small children.
Yes.
How did you cope with that? Doing much.
I'm a very organized person.
Okay.
And also, seeing gaps and filling the gaps. So I was raising small children. They were the only Black kids in schools, in their classes, with different names. They will call it funny names. I say no, unique names, with unique names. And teachers not embracing the kids. And if teachers are not embracing the kids, the other kids will model what the teachers.
Exactly.
So I injected myself into their schools. I volunteered at the schools. I set up parent-teacher interviews before the school calls parent-teacher interview. Within the first week of the new year, I present my child to the teacher. And I tell the teachers, you're here to teach my kids because I'm a taxpayer. And as far as behavior goes, you can expect impeccable behavior from my children. And I say this in front of the kids to the teacher and vice versa. So my kids had no choice but to behave in school, and the teachers have no choice but to teach my kids and be fair with my kids.
Did you ever get in trouble for doing this kind of thing?
No.
Never.
Why would I get
Not
in
just
trouble?
school, but like when you try to create space for yourself or insert yourself.
Yeah. At work.
Okay.
At work. They call that this personality, especially when I was frontline worker, they will say it's kind of difficult.
Yeah.
But some people like me and we work with youth. And I was able to relate very well with youth. So the kids love me.
You are a very lovable person.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yes. You can't be strict.
I am strict.
I see that strictness in you. And that's why 3 grandsons fit you so well, because you will set them straight.
And they are well-behaved kids. When the 3 of them gets together, no fighting, nothing at all. They are well-behaved kids. So I did that. And you said, you asked if I got into trouble. As I got promoted at work, Some people use it to file complaints, but they were never found. It's just that I have high expectations. I have high standards of myself. Therefore, it translated to what I expected from my staff. And some couldn't handle that because it was coming from a Black woman, especially in corrections.
Right. So when you got that feeling of, did this happen because I am Black? How did,
I knew it happened because I was Black. I knew it happened, and I told them.
You did?
Yeah.
And how what was the...
Well, the good thing with white people is if you are honest and they know that you are onto them, they'll yield.
That is a very interesting perspective.
It's also the way you say it. I'm not saying it to make them feel bad, because I'm not saying it as a victim. I'm just saying...
But there's no way you will say something about, oh, because I'm Black, and they won't feel like you're playing... They always feel like you're playing a card.
No. Not if they know that you are true to yourself. Not if they know that you are a fair person. Not if they know that you go beyond the call of duty. Then it's easy to accept by them.
Okay. Because sometimes things happen and you're like, why did this person react this way?
Then
Why
you
did
ask.
this happen like
Then you
that?
ask them. You don't assume. You ask them.
It's just, you don't want to get in trouble. You don't want to be that person who is always... There is a way. Because if Moji is coming out and asking, why will you do that to me when you didn't do it with this person? That's a fact. You're presenting a fact, something they can... Something tangible. Okay. So now, Mommy is teaching us how to be Black in a very white community without feeling some type of way.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And
you also ask, how did I raise the 3 children here? So aside from the school, I also created a life skills group in the community for the Nigerian Association, where all our kids will come together on Sundays, one Sunday a month, because we had our meeting one Sunday. So while the adults are doing their meeting, the kids, I'm teaching them life skills and coping skills, how to handle school, how to handle potential bullying in school, how to choose good friends, so I created safe space for our kids also. So most of those kids are parents now, and they're professionals.
It still baffles me how you found time for all of those things at the same time.
Well, you have to, I tell people that when something is dear to your heart, when something is important enough in your life, you create time for it.
Right. That is apt. Regardless of how crazy...
there are so many amenities now that we didn't have then. Maybe there are distractions now that we didn't have.
Yeah, social media is something else.
When I came, you had to go to a payphone to call Nigeria. And people you go through an operator, and they have to go and call the people to wait and stand by while you call back. So... yeah, your time is very valuable.
Yes. You don't have time for anything that is not important.
Yeah.
At the end of the day. Let me give you an instance of something that happened to my child in school.
Okay.
And how I handled it, and what you think about it. My son's school calls, and the teacher is like, so your son's lunchbox broke today. I want you to know that it's my fault, and just go ahead, buy a new one, and I will pay for it. And I'm like, what? Excuse me? Is everything okay? Is my son okay? Did anything happen? Was there an accident or an incident? She was like, yeah, there was a little incident. It's not a problem. I would replace it. I'm like, no,
I need to know what happened.
What happened? She's like, your son is right here. If you want, I can give him the phone to explain it to me.
No, I will talk to my son when my son gets home, not when you're there.
Anyways, at the end of the day, I was like, okay, give him the phone, because I was also scared for my son. I wanted to be sure that he was okay, if I needed to spring immediately to the school or not. And my son gets on the phone. I was like, my first question is, Bubu, are you okay? He says, yes, I'm fine. Okay, what happened? And then he starts to explain, but he tries to say it in a way that...
See, I wouldn't have asked what happened, because you put him on a spot. Because the teacher is right there. I would have waited for him to get home. After I get his version. If I'm satisfied, fine. If I'm not satisfied, I go to the school.
Anyways, he goes ahead and he's like, so I had my lunch box on my desk, and it wasn't time for lunch, and the teacher decided to knock it off the desk, and it broke. And I was like, really?
I would not be meeting with the teacher. I will be asking to speak to the principal.
See, so that means I'm even more calm.
Well, I won't be upset.
Yes,
I would just say, okay, this is what's happened. I need to meet with the principal first, and after I speak with the principal, then we will have a meeting with the principal and the teacher. And after that, I want to get assurance that my child will not be harmed further because of this.
You know, sometimes I fear that I might put my child in trouble.
No.
By going that extra mile. Although after when he explained everything to me, I didn't want him to feel like, I just told him, okay, Bubu, next time when you're told to do something, you have to listen, you have to pay attention.
That part is okay to do. That's your child's part.
Yeah.
But this teacher,
the teacher
is an adult.
Exactly.
Entrusted
with the
child. If she has an outburst like that, that's traumatic.
In front of all the kids.
That's
and
traumatic.
My child is like the only black kid in his class, because he goes to a French school. So he's the only black kid in his class.
That's traumatizing.
And even the way he was, I had to ask him, are you okay? Are you sure you're fine? And he says, yeah, I'm fine. And I know my son, like the way it's just his emotions. So I waited for him to come back. But I spoke with the teacher. I was like, okay, give her back the phone. And then she's like, yeah, I will buy it. I was like,
that's not the point.
That is not the point. You said you're going to buy the lunchbox, and you are going to buy it. However, there is something even more important. There's something I've been teaching my son, and perhaps I have to teach you about that right now. You see, when people act a certain way towards you, you do not have control over that. But what you have control over is your reaction.
Yes.
And you as the adult, your reaction was wrong. You cannot react like that towards a child. You're supposed to be the adult here. What you did was very unfair, and I haven't heard you once even apologizing.
You just said you're going to replace it.
That's How about apologize? Have you apologized to him?
That's a symptom.
Exactly.
That needs to be cut in a bud. So how did it end?
So eventually, when I told her that, she was like, well, I see, you're right, and I will apologize to him. And I'm like, yes, you need to do it, and you need to control your emotions, because you can't. You're supposed to teach these children, and they react the way they are little children, 8-year-olds. And then she was like, yes, that's the reason why. Initially, she wanted to cop out, and she was like, well, I'm taking responsibility for it. That's why I said I'm going to buy it. I'm like, it's not about just buying it. It's about taking ownership, apologizing to the child. Eventually, my son comes home, and I'm like, did she apologize? He said, yes, he apologized. And then she gave him a letter of apology as well. But like I've been sitting with it. I'm glad I spoke up and I spoke to her the way I did. But at the same time, sometimes I'm like, yeah.
The way you handle it is good.
Okay.
Except the fact that I wouldn't have asked the child what happened right there when she was there. That's number one. Number two, the way you handle it, fine. But I would top it up and say, if my child comes home to complain again, I'll be talking to the principal and the superintendent of schools.
Yeah.
Because that now puts her in check.
I think I have to do an email to the school with a screenshot, because I took a picture of the lunchbox. I took a picture of the letter that was sent. I feel like I need to do and this is not the first time that I have felt that way concerning this teacher. And I felt nervous when she became his class teacher as well, because she was just the assistant. She was the assistant principal, but she didn't have direct contact. But the way she complains about my son every time. And guess what he was doing? He was reading a book. It's not like he was making nuisance. And she was like, he's not listening. He was just reading a book when it was time to listen in class. I'm like,
but he was reading. He wasn't making noise.
Book.
Yeah, you need to compile all of that. Write it an email. You just say that you are concerned. That you are concerned. This is what happened. This is the complaint that she's giving. This is how she's reacted. I'm afraid that my child might be in danger.
Okay.
Maybe not physical danger,
but
emotional danger. Emotional, psychological danger.
And he confirmed that it made him feel very sad and embarrassed. And she didn't even know. He was crying. She didn't notice until later. She then noticed that he was crying. And that was why she decided to call me.
Ah, so she was, okay. Yeah, you need to follow up with an email.
Yeah.
You need to follow up with an email that you're concerned for your son. And that is the way when my children were growing up, and because I have a son too, who happened to be a tall boy. That was the way the teachers broke down the black boys in school, targeting them, complaining about every move they made.
They do typical behavior of that age. Because he's black, his is different.
So that's how they broke the black boys in those days. And some of the kids suffered because when they're picked on like that, and they feel sad or afraid going to school, they start dropping out and hanging out with unfavorable kids. So it's better to follow up with the school principal. Okay.
Another thing that gets me confused about the situation with this particular teacher is maybe because she's not from here.
Where is she from?
She is from, is it Norway? She's from another country.
She's from European country. So the standard there. And
exactly. So I'm like, is it that it's not just about my son? Or is it, because even during the last PTA and she was complaining, I was like, is this something that is done predominant with children this age, or is this just my son?
Well, again, when you get people from Norway and whatever, you see the Canadian system and the Canadian culture is becoming more accepting and more inclusive, and they are watching themselves and whatever. But you have this person who grew up in a different culture, and that mentality that they have there is still ingrained. She may not even be aware of it. It may be subconscious, but she has that ingrained of how they perceive and how they deal with, black kids,
right,
where she came from.
Yeah.
And also not realizing that most black kids and most Nigerians that are here are well-educated Nigerians with, That's what we talked about earlier on, because our education sometimes prevents us from, seeing past ourselves. Yeah.
My son moved to this country at 4, and at 4 he could read any book.
Yeah.
He's always been a reader. Even the same day he came back with a badge that says "I'm a reader," given to him by the librarian, right?
Yeah.
So he loves
for the teacher to now be getting mad
obsessed
because he was reading.
So yeah, it's something that just keeps sitting with me. I'm like, oh, but she's not Canadian. Maybe she's not racist, or maybe she is.
No. Even if she's not racist, it needs to be brought to her attention, because your child is now. Who's going to be the next child that's going to be in her class next year, and the year after, and the year after? If it's not brought to her attention now, many damages will be done to all those children coming after.
You see, and that is how you've been able to inform change for more people coming behind
not just
you.
There is a story of my oldest daughter who also started school very early, because I'm a reader and we read a lot. We went to the library a lot. She's going to be 45 next month.
Wow.
In her is it grade 1 or kindergarten? Might be grade 1, but she was 4 years old, because she started early when they used to allow them to start early when they're gifted kids.
Right, okay.
And she brought a report card home, and I went through the report card with her, and I said, you got this? And she said, that's not me. I said, but your teacher said that's why it's also important to have regular conversation
with the kids.
Not only when they get into trouble. Don't yell at them only when they get into trouble. Make casual but meaningful conversation. Casually, that's how you get information from them. And I said, your teacher says, she said, well, I was not tested by my teacher. I said, oh, really? She said it was the student teacher.
Okay.
I said, okay. So I called a meeting with the teacher. And of course, the teacher, defended the mark. So I let the teacher finish up. And I said to the teacher, did you actually tested or administered the test?
The test, yes.
Yourself? And she said, oh, yeah. I said, but my daughter said that it was the student teacher. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, the student teacher. I said, I need to remind you something. I volunteer in your class because, like I said, I always volunteer at my schools, kids, at my kids' school. I said, I volunteer at your class once a week. And I see how the white boys are unruly and they use up your time and your energy. And I see Chinese kids, black kids, my daughter was the only black, but other brown kids and they sit there quietly while your energy and time is spent on these kids. So you don't really get to know the other kids.
Exactly.
I said, so could you please re-administer
the test
by yourself with my daughter? And that's what happened. And the kid was just
blown away.
Yeah. And that's how I follow my children year after year through. My daughter, this same daughter, got to grade 12. When I asked, do you still want me to meet your teacher the way I do? She said, I don't care. Whatever you want to do. Like she was used to it.
Yes.
She said, whatever you want to do. I said, you don't mind? Maybe you want to be free of me and be whatever. She said, I don't care.
Wow. She must have liked it.
Well, she didn't know any different.
Yeah.
Any other kid would have said, oh, I don't want you to come and embarrass me.
Yes.
But for her,
it was like, okay.
It's normalized, like it's not a big deal.
Yeah. That's good.
So I chose not to. I think I was looking for a way out not to go.
Okay.
So I chose not to. And lo and behold, she had conflict with this social studies teacher.
It's exhausting.
So I was at work. I was being paged because my line was busy. So I was being paged for an emergency call and whatever. So I dropped the call and I took that page. It was the social teacher, grade 12 social teacher, calling to complain, report my daughter. And on the other hand, another line was ringing. It was my daughter calling to complain
about the teacher. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
So I let her go. I said, we will talk at home. So I talked to the teacher, and the teacher said, oh, she disrespected him and this and that. They were studying, they were doing a lesson on Hitler. And the Holocaust, and how Hitler made people wear the same clothes, and they were doing that exercise, and he had told the students to wear certain color on that day, and my daughter didn't. And when she questioned her in front of the class, and she stood up, she said that I don't have to, because that's that's authoritarian, and that's why, the lesson, she related it back to the lesson and everything, but he took it differently as a defiance and to embarrass him in front of the class. So when she came home, we discussed it and whatever, and I told the teacher that I would call him back the following day after speaking with my daughter. And I called him back and I said, okay, I would like to come and meet with you and with my daughter, and she can apologize. And he said, you know what? I owe her an apology.
That's good.
Oh, I forgot to say, the conflict came because they posted the marks for that class, and she was given a bad mark, and she marched into the class in front of other students to tell this teacher that that's not my mark.
I love her. I haven't met her, but I love her. And you did a good job with her, because most kids would...
And this was, I don't know, she's 45, way back
years
then
ago,
in grade 12 in Calgary.
And I'm sure it wasn't also easy back then. Like 45 years ago.
No, it wasn't
not
easy.
45, but like 40 something years ago.
So she was 16 when she finished. So, yeah.
Wow.
So that would be
about
29 years ago.
That's
the only black kid in class.
Wow.
So by the time I call, and the teacher says, you know what, and I've gone back to read her file. So when in those days you write at the beginning of kindergarten or grade 1, you will write something about your kid for the school and your family for the school. This teacher took time to go back to look at all her marks.
And saw that she was a high performer child.
Yes. That's why she was bold enough to say, that's not my marks.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah. And this same child was exempted from first year English for University of Calgary.
Exempted?
Exempted.
Wow. So she is a high performing child.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like her. And you did something for her with all those things you were doing. Like you put that boldness and that ability to speak up and speak your mind out. You didn't make her a timid child that would run under the rock when things happen.
All my 3 kids were not like that.
Right.
The younger sister was opposite her. When they will put her, actually that one, because she's so quiet, the teacher knows, they recognize her strength in creativity and whatever, and they will want to bring her forward, and she won't want to
hide.
No.
Oh, yeah. Every child
is different.
I
Yeah.
think she took that from your husband.
Yes. And they look alike too.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
But your other child, your first child,
Is like
you.
me. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
And
makes
she
sense.
had to be, because she's the oldest of three. And she came around when we were struggling.
Right.
So she had to step up. She's had to step up to help her siblings, to help us when we are having those 2-3 jobs, different shifts and things like that.
Wow. No, you're a product of resilience, even when things were hard. And I hope that people that are watching can, if whatever you're going through right now as a new immigrant or an immigrant that has been here for a long time, look at Mommy Moji. Like, just look at her. And she has still kept her head high. She has, in spite of everything, the racism, the things thrown at her.
For me, life happens anywhere you find yourself.
Yeah.
It may not be race related. It may be cultural, it may be language, it may be religious, it may be whatever it is. Economical. Life happens. But don't let that moment define who you can become. Because I am still becoming. I'm almost, I will tell you my age. But I just find that as long as there is life in us, as long as we're breathing and we're able to walk, we can speak, we can eat, there will always be opportunities.
That's awesome. Yeah, there will always be opportunities.
There will always be opportunities to gain, to learn, and to give, to contribute. I live to give.
Give, even you've so enriched me, and I like this thing we just said. I've never done this before. Ask a question, a true life question about like a situation that happened, and I feel like now I want to start doing it because you gave me very good advice, and I feel like even talking to you about it and you telling me about your own experiences with your kids' school, it just kind of broadened my mind on things that I can do, and I feel like it will also help somebody out there as well that has been struggling.
And the title of that book says, I give because I'm blessed, and I'm blessed because I give. And that's how truly I live my life. It has nothing to do with religion. I always give that disclaimer. Like I told you earlier on, I was brought and raised in an Islamic home and went to Christian schools. So I'm well-rounded. And the one thing that binds all of us is humanity, kindness, empathy, and uplifting other people. And I believe that my life is enriched when I see other people doing good.
Beautiful. Thank you. And don't stop. I know you won't stop, but I'm just going to tell you don't stop, because that's even the reason why you could come to the podcast and all. It's so cold out, but you're still able to come because you know that pouring into people like me is also going to enhance the next generation, and that's the same way hopefully I can pour into the next person who comes. I hope to just keep learning from you. So
I hope that I'm around to keep teaching and learning too. And I surround myself with young people so that I can learn from them. Yeah, that's good. There's this question we usually ask everybody that comes, because this is a diary of a Niger immigrant. We ask, what is one thing you wish you knew before taking or buying that one-way ticket to Canada? If I had known the one thing I wish I had known, it would have prevented me from coming.
Interesting.
Yes.
And what would that be?
The weather.
Well, you're used to it. Surely you must be used to it already.
Now, but at that time,
And look at your shoes. Even as cold as it is, look at the shoes you're wearing.
I never learned, eh? Well, also I'm a fashionista.
Exactly.
You know, so I'm a fashionista. So yeah, it was the weather. And you said one thing.
Multiple things.
But you know, if I had known about the loneliness, but then, you know, I was alone in Nigeria too. I was in boarding school. You know,
But you had friends?
No.
Really?
No. I was so there was an incident and I had to go back. You asked me a question too, and I had to go back to ask a few of my high school classmates, because we have a group of kids that grew up and graduated in. I had to go back and ask those people, what was I like in those days? And most of them said, boys and girls said that I was a loner.
Really?
That I did my own thing.
And look at you now, a community builder.
But I was a community builder then. I was the senior prefect in my final year.
Right.
I represented the school in a debating team, in spelling, and I was in track and field.
Nice.
So I kept myself occupied with those things,
right,
because I knew nobody was coming for me. And they also said that even as a senior prefect, I was always the one out there helping the younger ones on manual labor day to cut grass.
Wow.
So I think it's come full circle where you said, where did I get that confidence? It's because I've never wanted to be boxed or lumped with anybody. I've always done my own thing the way I see it that needed to be done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. But I didn't know that until they told me that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because you're just neck deep into it. You weren't sure. Well, this has been an awesome conversation.
It's been an awesome. We can continue forever.
We can continue forever.
We may have to do, I don't know, somebody said I should
do
a documentary of my life.
Yes. And I will be the person that will do it.
Woo!
Yes. Great.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have the first book, and on my 70th birthday, maybe it's something we can plan towards that. I will release my
second book.
Sequel to this one. This only captured the first 40 years in Canada, and it's been 8 years now.
Okay. Because I feel like there are layers to your story that needs to go, like we need to go deeper into, and a documentary would actually encapsulate it better. 8-hour documentary. We'll release it in series.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's a plan.
Yeah. And then we can also ask your children. We can ask your husband. We can ask some people who have been with you, like friends
for a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's good. So then we have a plan.
Yes.
Clock it.
Yes.
Thank you so much for giving me your time and just pouring your heart and advice. You gave me an advice on motherhood right now, coming from someone who has done it 3 times and 3 times again with your grandkids. 3 times again
with the grandkids.
Yeah. So,
and lots of adopted children and adopted grandkids.
Yeah. Thank you so much. This is not the last time you will hear from me.
No, it's not.
Calling to ask you for advice.
Yeah.
Because you give really good advice.
Anytime.
Thank you.
I was a counselor. I worked with teenagers for 30-some years.
Wow. Yes. You see? Did you find that working with those teenagers, even though they were white, you ended up using your African mommy, you came out?
Well, they're not predominantly white. Okay. They're indigenous kids.
Okay.
They are Asian kids. They are they represent our population.
Right.
Incarcerated. But I was able to relate to them because they saw me as an immigrant that represent their parents and the indigenous people, you know, what they've gone through. They are more... They are more not only accepting, they saw me as older sisters at the beginning, and as I got older, like a surrogate mother, and on and on. So, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
And I was strict but fair and loving.
And loving. That's a typical African mom there.
Yes.
Thank you so much. This has been such an awesome conversation.
Thank you for having me.
I really appreciate from the depth of my heart. Thank you.
You're very welcome, and we will do it again.
Yes, you heard it here. I have it on record. Thank you so much for watching or listening, whatever platform you're watching or listening on. I hope you come back again. Do not forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment, share with your friends. This has been a good conversation, and for you to have stayed this long, it means that you enjoyed it. So do not keep it to you. Don't gatekeep it. Share it with your friends. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys. Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
The Diary of a Niger Immigrant was proudly brought to you through Onyi's Lens. If you like this episode, then you should check out our other episodes. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment on whose journey you would like to hear about next on The Diary of a Niger Immigrant. And until next time, I remain Onyi Ekenelbi. Bye now, friends.